Oh, you're here, so stick around. Hit the button, baby.
Party dance time.
Stay cool. This is a Thor News presentation. Thor News presents... Yeah, hey, guess what? They found another twin Earth. Or did they? I don't know, people seem confused. Now, some people are saying it's not Earth's twin, it's Venus's twin. And I'm like, well, I guess that's a little different than the 100 other we found Earth twin stories. They're almost as large in number as the, hey, we found water on Mars stories, which seem to come out once a year, or once every other year. UPI, Rocky Earth, like exoplanet found just next door. Now, how do you guys get away with that crap? If I put that in a video, someone would be like, no way. Some debunker, cat, would be like, hell no, that thing is like 12 light years away. And I'd be like, okay, whatever, man. You know, UPI could get away with it. Astronomers have found a rocky exoplanet orbiting star just 39 light years away. Oh, hey, that's right next door. Kind of like if a house was a light year, it would only be 38 light year houses away. So that's kind of like next door. Actually, that sounds more like down the block, you know? It's not really next door. Get Jerked 1132b is the closest Earth-like world yet found by scientists. So yeah, it's kind of like the same exact story as they've been telling us, except this time it's fascinating because it's a little bit closer than the last one. For context, the Milky Way galaxy stretches some 100,000 light years across. And you know how we know that? Bill Nye told us so. Don't question the Bill Nye ever. Disney science cannot be stopped. By measuring the amount of its host star's light the exoplanet blocks, researchers determined that Good Job 1132b is 1.2 times the size of Earth. The wobble of its red dwarf host, Good Job 1132, suggests the planet's mass is 1.6 times the mass of Earth. A planet of such proportions is likely composed of rock, researchers say. Yeah, well, I don't think they know shit about planets 39 light years away. You know what I'm saying? Like, we barely know stuff about planets outside of the inner solar system, so speculate on planets 39 light years away is a bit silly. But that's my opinion. My opinion is jaded and skeptical. You see, scientists detailed the planet's Earth-like attributes in a new paper published this week in the journal Nature, which hides the good science behind a paywall. If you want good science, you gotta pay for it. If you can't afford it, then head on over to the YouTube. I'll gladly meet you there. But beyond size, mass, and composition, Good Job 1132b and Earth have little else in common. Unlike Earth, which spins, the exoplanet is tidally locked. Whoa. Meaning the same half of the sphere faces its sun at all times, leaving one half permanently in the darkness. Wait a sec, I got a question. How do you know that? Is the pixel not turning? Oh yeah, by the way, can we get a photograph, man? Oh man, what a question. Can we get a photograph, please, of this wonderful revelation? Given its proximity to the host star, it's unbearably hot to live there. Upwards of 500 degrees Fahrenheit, far too hot for water to exist on its surface. The temperature of the planet is about as hot as your oven will go. So it's like burnt cookie hot. Oh, what? Dude, it's burnt cookie hot? What is this, like Cookie Monster astronomy? Which I guess would be cool, but it's too hot to be habitable. There's no way there's liquid water on the surface. Wait, y'all said the same shit about Mercury. You know what I'm saying? And Mercury's got water, but it's a lot cooler than other rocky planets that we know of. Scientists believe it's just cool enough to host a substantial atmosphere. Well, man, no disrespect, but I'm not sure all scientists are experts in cool. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they're just so focused on one specific subject that it devours their life. And I think to be truly cool, you have to have an eclectic knowledge of all things. That way you can relate to the human condition and experience and radiate awesomeness. And that awesomeness creates the byproduct of cool. You know what I'm saying? Maybe, maybe not. Cool is relative. Berta Thompson is excited to find out what color the exoplanet's atmosphere, as well as its chemical composition and wind patterns. All observations, Hubble's successor, the $10 billion in 21 years in the making, James Webb Space Telescope, which is scheduled to launch in 2018, will likely be able to make. Yeah, the Hubble's replacement is only 3 more years away. So we've waited, what, 21 years? What's another 3 years, man? We're almost there. It's gonna be like, snap your fingers and we've got the Hubble's replacement. That is, if nothing goes wrong with the launch. God forbid if something went wrong with the launch. We wouldn't have another Hubble replacement for like till 2040. And by then we'll have fixed climate change, colonized the moon, and be overpopulating Mars. */sarcasm. We think it's the first opportunity we have to point our telescopes at a rocky exoplanet and get that kind of detail. To be able to measure the color of its sunset or the speed of its winds and really learn how rocky planets work out there in the universe. Those will be exciting observations to make. By understanding the different types of atmospheres that rocky planets are capable of holding on to, astronomers will ultimately be able to more accurately target those capable of hosting life. Well, this same old story is basically the same old story. We know everything, we don't know anything. It's all relative. Dang it, dang it. All right, super awesome. We're at nature.com, and we know we can trust this data because everyone understands that all good, honest science and the data that backs it up should be hidden behind a paywall. You want good science? You gotta pay, bitches. That's what my mom always used to say to me. A rocky planet transiting a nearby low-mass star. Well, it does appear that for whatever you gotta pay to get the full article, you're kind of paying to get a less sensational title that websites that depend on advertising revenue to pay for their business model would give you. Because they sometimes sensationalize stuff, or they call it clickbaiting. I too can be guilty of a sensational title, but I think that's okay because Thor News is really sensational. And I mean that more like awesome than, whatever. You see, M stars, which are dwarf stars, which are like the most popular and populous kind of star in the galaxy, universe, and Candyland, they're hydrogen-burning stars that are smaller than 60% of the size of the sun, and the most common class of star in our galaxy, and outnumber sun-like stars by a ratio of 12 to 1. Thanks, science. See, what they've done is they've counted up every single star in the Milky Way, and while they counted them up, they noted which color and which size that star was. So officially, there are 12 to 1 red dwarf stars in the Milky Way. Man, science is so good with math and dividing. You know what's weird is I don't think the sun ever uses math, and somehow it still works. That's why I'm not that big a fan of math. You know, it's like math, numbers, and words can be used to sell any story you want to sell, really. That is neither here nor there. We're at Nature Journal, standing in front of a paywall, talking about this stupid-ass space rock. It's like a zillion miles away. It's kind of like an Earth, but a little bigger and a little closer than the 15 other stories they've said, hey, look, we found another Earth, a rocky inner solar system planet. Blah, blah, blah. The nearest such planets known to transit their star are 39 parsecs away. Parsec. Too distant for detailed follow-up observations to measure the planetary masses or to study their atmospheres. Here, we report observations of good job 1132b, a planet with a size of 1.2 Earth radii that is transiting a small star 12 parsecs away. Our Doppler mass measurement of Get Jacked 1132b yields a density consistent with an Earth-like bulk composition, similar to the composition of the 6 known exoplanets with masses less than 6 times that of Earth and precisely measured densities, receiving 19 times more stellar radiation than Earth. The planet is too hot to be habitable, but it's close enough to support a substantial atmosphere, one that has probably been considerably depleted of hydrogen, because the host star is nearby and only 21% of the radius of the sun. Existing and upcoming telescopes will be able to observe the composition and dynamics of the planetary atmosphere. Okay, yeah, all that monkey talk was basically saying, look at me, I have a fancy education, and I like to say stuff that isn't really true. Now, the other stuff may or may not be true, I can't verify. But what I can verify is this guy does not know whether or not that planet would be too hot to have life. Dude, it is, like you said, it's a zillion light years away. You don't know shit about planets and life zillions of light years away. You know what I'm saying? You can't assume that the universe creates life uniformly, exactly the same ways all across the universe. Well, I guess you can, and then you can get your article up on a paywall, and you can get paid. So do whatever you gotta do. Good job, jerkbag. I don't know if you know this. Thor News is for winners, and that's why you're here. So stick around. Hit the button, baby.
Party dance time.
Stay cool. This is a Thor News presentation. Thor News presents... Yeah, hey, guess what? They found another twin Earth. Or did they? I don't know, people seem confused. Now, some people are saying it's not Earth's twin, it's Venus's twin. And I'm like, well, I guess that's a little different than the 100 other we found Earth twin stories. They're almost as large in number as the, hey, we found water on Mars stories, which seem to come out once a year, or once every other year. UPI, Rocky Earth, like exoplanet found just next door. Now, how do you guys get away with that crap? If I put that in a video, someone would be like, no way. Some debunker cat would be like, hell no, that thing is like 12 light years away. And I'd be like, okay, whatever, man. You know, UPI could get away with it. Astronomers have found a rocky exoplanet orbiting star just 39 light years away. Oh, hey, that's right next door. Kind of like if a house was a light year, it would only be 38 light year houses away. So that's kind of like next door. Actually, that sounds more like down the block, you know? It's not really next door. Get Jerked 1132b is the closest